Hey there, welcome back to The Empowered Edge, the podcast where we cut through the noise, ditch the overwhelm, and unlock your best self through optimal health, a resilient mindset, and habits that actually last. I'm your host, Jenna Hostetler, registered dietitian, certified neurocoach, and proud obsessor of all things psychology and leadership. Every week, you'll get practical, science-backed strategies that give you the clarity and confidence to take action, break through barriers, and most importantly, own your health, own your life, and live with purpose. Hey guys, happy Tuesday! Okay, if you are serious about owning your health and taking charge of your future, then listen up. Because today we're diving into something that separates the ones making real progress from the ones stuck spinning their wheels. And that difference is becoming a problem solver. Now you've probably heard the phrase, the more problems you solve, the more money you make. And in business, that's absolutely true. The more valuable the problem you solve, the more you can charge, so the more money you make. But here's where most people miss. Before you can get good at solving problems for others, you have to master solving your own. And this is exactly where I see so many people get stuck, especially when they're wanting to improve their health, change their diet, or finally commit to that exercise program. They think that if they just find the right plan, the right program, the right coach, that they'll be good. But that's why they stay stuck. Because you cannot outsource your ability to solve problems. Not in business, not in health, not in life. And that is why I'm so excited to dig in this today. So if you feel like you've tried everything and nothing has worked, this might be the piece of the puzzle that you've been missing. This might be the one final piece that unlocks the results you've been chasing. And you've probably also heard things like, if you can't be trusted with a little, you will not be trusted with a lot. Or, to whom much is given, much is expected. And these are often said in the context of money, like, if you can't handle $100, you will not be given $1,000. But it applies to every area of life. I actually talked about this in episode 2, Building Habits That Stick, and it's just as relevant here. Because if you're constantly avoiding or outsourcing responsibility, then you are not developing the muscles or the skills required for success. And without those, you will stay stuck exactly where you are, frustrated, spinning your wheels, and wondering why nothing is working. So let's talk about how this shows up in health, because we all do this at some point. We outsource by buying meal plans, by relying on diet programs like Octavia, paying for food delivery services like Hungry Root, using supplements or weight loss aids to shortcut the process, or letting someone else make every food decision for us. Now, none of these things are inherently bad on their own. Outsourcing has its place, and in fact, any one of these things might be the right move in a specific season of life. But if you're using these tools to avoid solving your real problems, then you're going to stay stuck. Because without developing the problem-solving skills, you will become dependent on someone else to be successful. And when you're dependent, you become a victim. You're a victim to someone else's pricing, their availability, their business model, and when things shift, when it's no longer affordable, when the program ends, or when the food delivery changes, guess what? You are right back at square one, searching for the next person, the next program, the next promise. And in the meantime, you lose progress. Not because you're not capable, but because you haven't built the skills you need to succeed on your own. Take meal plans, for example. They can be incredibly helpful, but in my experience, they work best when you create them yourself, or at least the very least, adapt them to fit your life. Only you know how much time you have, what you and your family like to eat, and what ingredients are actually available at your local store. You might need a general framework, like how much protein, veggies, or carbs, but once you have that, you should be able to build a plan that works for you. I remember working with some people a few years ago, and I was honestly shocked at how quickly people would abandon the meal plan if there was just a minor issue, like they didn't like an ingredient or an ingredient wasn't available. And instead of making an easy substitution, like actually thinking, they would just give up. I kid you not, one person stopped having any smoothies, and they had a lot of issues, very restricted. But they stopped making smoothies that were on the plan because they didn't like the fruit. I'm like, hello, you switch out the fruit. If you don't like peaches, try some strawberries. But it's like someone gives you a plan and someone tells you what to do, and your critical thinking just stops. There was no ability, no desire to make it work if it wasn't easy and if it wasn't handed to them. And I was honestly are you freaking kidding me? You can't think enough to just swap out your fruit and just make it work? It's mind-blowing to me. And that's not problem solving. That's the total opposite. That is entitlement. That is, I paid for this, it better be perfect. If it's not perfect, well, oh well, I guess I just can't do it. We better eat out because we don't have broccoli and the recipe called for broccoli and I don't know what to do. That is the all or nothing mindset that we've been talking about these last few episodes. And that is the total opposite of empowerment. It is the epitome of victim mindset where this person did this thing for me and I don't know what to do if life changes. I don't know how to adapt. So using these options as tools is great. I've used a lot of these before, but needing them to function is a problem. If you don't build the capacity to think critically and to problem solve, then you are going to be starting over every single time it gets hard because you just don't know what to do. And the other thing, of course, we have to address is food quality, because these services sell convenience. But sometimes you're really just paying for glorified junk food, and you will likely, a lot of times, find frozen meals at your grocery store with far better ingredients for way less money. So just be careful and don't sacrifice quality for convenience, and don't assume that because it has fancy packaging, there's good food inside. Because real food still matters. Your body still matters, and your long-term health is worth far more than short-term ease. It's also really important to recognize what you can outsource and what you absolutely cannot. Because sure, there are ways to make work easier. There's systems, tools, services. They can all lighten the load. But if you want real results, at some point, you have to do the work. You can outsource a workout program. You can outsource grocery shopping. You can outsource cooking. But you cannot outsource your mindset. You can't outsource your decisions. And you can't outsource your commitment. You are the one who has to show up when it gets hard. You are the one who has to decide if you're going to stay on track when no one's watching. And you're the one who has to say, I'm still in this, even when things do not go according to plan. That is where growth happens. That is what creates transformation. And that is what separates the people who are living their dream life from the ones who just keep wishing for it. Now, if you're considering outsourcing anything at all in your health, I want you to pause and ask yourself a few honest questions. Number 1, why do I want to outsource this? Is it because you truly don't have the time or skills to do it yourself and you can get your desired result without personally doing it? Or is it because you're avoiding the discomfort and growth that comes from doing it yourself? Number 2, do I currently have the skills to do this, or can I develop it? What's the cost or benefit of learning the skill? What's the cost or benefit of not learning the skill? And would outsourcing this empower you to grow or enable you to stay exactly where you are, stuck with the same results? Question 3, what is the real cost of outsourcing? Not just in money, but in missed learning, lost time, and slowed growth. Will this decision accelerate your progress, or will it hold you back in the long run? And finally, will I regret giving this responsibility away? If things don't go as planned, are you willing to take full ownership of the outcome, even if it looks like it was someone else's job? Because sometimes outsourcing is the smartest move you can make, but other times it's just a clever disguise for avoiding responsibility. And knowing the difference is everything when it comes to creating real, lasting success. So what this really comes down to is this. When problems come up, who do you become? Do you avoid? Do you blame? Or do you get to work? And I'll tell you, I'm not perfect because I can definitely become a blamer, but I'm also very good at just getting over it and doing the work because I want the result. So the people who create massive change in their health and their business and their life, they do not shy away from challenges. They get better at solving their own problems. They take action even when it's hard, especially when it's hard, and they build confidence through doing. And they trust themselves to figure it out, whatever it is. And that's the kind of person that you want to be if you want real success, if you want real change. Because success does not come from avoiding hard things. It comes from becoming the kind of person who can handle them. So if you're ready to become that person, if you're ready to take ownership of your health and start solving the right problems, then I want you to download my free Goal Getter Guide, because it is a simple but powerful 3-step process to help you identify one meaningful health goal, uncover what's been holding you back, and take confident, focused action. Because it is not about doing more. It's about doing the right thing right now. You can find the link in the show notes, so go ahead and grab your copy and start building the mindset and habits that actually get results. Because your next level, it is not waiting for a new program, and it is not waiting for the perfect time. It's waiting for you to show up, take action, and solve the right problem. So if you found this episode helpful today, leave us a 5-star review because it will help us reach more people just like you. Then get after it. Take action, stay empowered, and I'll see you next time. Okay, now before you pop off, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the one episode that could change your life. And give us a 5-star review if you learned something new today. If you want to check out all the awesome free guides, templates, and resources I've given away on this podcast, go to theneurodietitian.com/resources. You can grab anything you want, but only if you'll do it. Because information without implementation is worthless. And here at The Empowered Edge, we're action takers, not excuse makers.